Hello. GTO time. Here I am at the garage, where she's been laid up for the last year. MOT run out about 2 months ago. It drove round for about a month, if that. I done 1,000 miles. I went to Chester and back. You probably already know this if you're at all keeping on tabs with me. The bottom end went again. It had gone when I bought it, and now it's a case of it's gone again. I didn't change the rods. I'd hoped that they were okay. Sometimes, apart from spending loads on machine shop fees, you could just take your chance and just hope it goes well. But this case, it didn't. So a new engine, you might have seen on the socials. I've picked it up. It's completely standard. It's a non-turbo, just like this, and it's healthy and it's running okay. So it's ready to drop in. So I need to get this one out. Excuse the background noise. Someone's doing some scaffolding. So here I am. I'm here to take it out. Start taking it out. It won't come out today. I'm going to strip it as much as it needs today. Then it's going to be a case of bring the hoist, bring the engine, drop it, well, lift it actually, lift it out, and then put the new one in. That'll be another day, and then the third day, reverse what I'm doing now basically. It's such a shame because it was all painted nice, the engine was nice and ready to go. It's, you know, had all the new bottom end bearings and stuff, and yeah, I'll keep it. It's an expensive engine. I mean, they're about $850. I paid $850 for mine, so it's worth keeping hold of. They are getting thin on the ground, and considering there was two revisions where there was a forged bottom end and a non-forged bottom end, this is the earlier non-forged. The giveaway is this module here, which is is crank position based on cam position. That's the giveaway. There's no crank position on these later ones. There is. And of course there's a turbocharged model and a non-turbocharged model. The internals are different. Apart from that, it's mostly the same. You've got like a different oil filter housing, but they're mostly the same. So this is going to come out today. I'm just made a start and doing a couple of the wires, stuff like the coolant and the, I forget what it's called. I'm pretty sure it's written on it, if you can get past all the Japanese. TMU or TPU, something like that. Take out the gear linkages, stuff like that, and then this engine will come up and out. Lot to do. Stuff like the battery tray's even got to come off. Then you got to get under it. You got to take that bottom brace off to avoid resting the engine on it too much. The transfer case has got to come off. The gearbox is going to come out with it in this case because it's just easier, he says. I mean, look at that clearance there on that bulkhead. Yikes. Washer ball's got to come up out. Drive shafts on each side, on the front, they've got to come out. Don't forget, this is four-wheel drive. Just see the transfer case on the left of the exhaust there. Exhaust has got to come down, obviously. I'm going to try and leave the radiator in place. Or am I though? I don't know. The cartridge of the fans is quite big. I'm going to leave the aircon pump hanging because it's got gas in it. And this is the old gas. You can't get that gas anymore. So if that runs out or comes out, I lose aircon, and it does work, so it'd be a shame to lose that. Yeah, let's crack on. Get in there. Intake's off. All the sort of gearbox stuff is off, like the clutch hose and the bloody gear linkage. Still one connection down there on the starter motor. Then I need to come over to here, but it's best done underneath. Like, take the alternator thing off by there now. And then it's the aircon switch. We're getting there. There's not much left holding it in. Obviously the engine mounts and the bloody drive shaft and that, but I haven't got under the car yet. It's a lot of shit in a 90s car, I'm not gonna lie. 1991. And it's just still more technologically advanced than cars, well, that for example. Bonkers. But I'm getting there. So hopefully this new engine goes in quite smoothly. Nothing like differences. I think it's an imported car that it's coming from anyway, so there shouldn't be much difference. But hopefully that is the case. He's given me a lot of the stuff with it. Basically, as that is now, the new ones come in. So the HD leads, I need to remember what it's called. Basically, it controls like rev counters and stuff like that. It comes with the water rail, the crank position or cam position sensor, whatever you want to call it. It comes pretty much like for like. It doesn't come with the clutch and the flywheel, but I got all that. The clutch was new, XED unit, so I won't want to use anything else anyway. It came with a spare alternator. I've already got mine, but it's nice to have a spare. So it's just gonna drop straight in basically. I'm going to whip the sump off the new engine first though, because it's what causes these to fail a lot of the times. Is the sump gets jacked on or it gets hit by something, and there's only a marginal difference between the bottom of the pickup pipe and the sump. So if that gets crushed, that difference drops massively, and you're just not getting the oil supply you need, and that's one of the major killers of these cars. It's oil. I'm not altogether sure why. Maybe it is that pickup pump. Maybe it's just the fact that if you don't service them properly, the oil just thins out and it doesn't get lubricated properly. The crank's maybe a bit sensitive. Either way, they do like to wear out the big end, and that's what kills them. That's what killed this. Interesting about the intake is it's actually got runner manifold control. So there's valves in here that redirect this way or just straight through for increased economy around town, and that's what this motor is here. It seems to operate a little bit on temperature, and then it must operate somewhat on throttle position as well and load. But this is coolant, so when it's cold, I imagine it's shut or maybe open. I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of butterfly-ness going on in there. Can't really see any sign of it from the outside. It's all motor driven. Again, mental for 1991. Get in there. Intake's off. All the sort of gearbox stuff is off, like the clutch hose and the bloody gear linkage. Still one connection down there on the starter motor. Then I need to come over to here, but it's best done underneath. Like take the alternator thing off by there now, and then it's the aircon switch. We'll get so, in my infinite wisdom, I thought I'd double check the intake ports, because this has been open to the atmosphere for about 3 weeks now. When I picked up the engine, it was already open, and it's just open. And I thought, I better check if there's anything untoward down there. And thank absolute fuck I did, because I can't get the bloody light to play ball. Either way, give me a sec. That's what I found down one. This one little washer could have absolutely ruined my day. Probably would have ruined the engine. It would either got stuck on the back of a valve and caused no compression on that one cylinder, which would have cost me weeks worth of pulling my hair out trying to figure out why. Or it would have gone into the engine itself and would have just caused so much havoc and probably destroyed things. And would have been stuck in there as well until it was in tiny pieces. So thank shit I checked. Just going to double check the other 5 now just to make sure. I've been a bit slacking on the video front because it's either been pissing it down or the wind has been so bad these doors have just been flapping about. Just got various things to do now. It was just a case of crack on yesterday, so I didn't really film to that point. Engine mounts, because there's 4 of them. It is an absolute ball ache to do it, to get it to line up. Plus the way I had the hoist, it was coming in timing belt this end, facing our way, so I had to turn it 90 and then try and get the bloody mounts on. Not easy for stuff jobs. And the engine was listing properly to one side as well, so I had to use the jack. got myself a new oil filter because there wasn't an oil filter on it, and it needs oil anyway, so new oil filter ready for that. I've nicked the cap off the other engine because this didn't come with one. It didn't come with the intake either, but of course I've still got my intake. What else? Just connect things up, really. I need to put the gear linkage on, the fuel lines. It's got fuel lines connected, but I want to put my own back on it because it's easier than undoing these. Well, I don't know. They're already there, so I feel like I may as well. There's always a level of how much do you use from the old and how much do you use from the new provided stuff. Like you know your stuff works where you know they're not going to go wrong. I've got a bottom arm in and the drive shaft. The boots are fine, but there's grease everywhere, and on inspection I've only used cable ties, as you can see by there, and they're obviously not clamping enough. So there's CV grease all over the bloody place. So I've dug around in the garage and I've found some. So they can go on. It's just all the niggles now. Here's the damage from when I reversed it in badly. I didn't realise I'd done the door in. Look at that. Absolute pain. So all the red is off the door frame. And then the side skirt was already damaged. I had to rebuild it after the bloody bottom arm came out when he was moving. But the indicator's gone as well, so I'll have to get a new indicator. I've sourced an indicator and a side skirt, but it's the guy that sold me the engine and he's bloody ages down Devon, so it's a bit of a drive. Where is that socket gone? Anyway, I'm gonna crack on this oil filter on then. Not the easiest of positions. There we are. Got the exhaust on, prop is still hanging down. I need to undo the middle rubber to get it down a bit. This side's done with the CV boot. You clip on it, and then it's got the nut on. Need to torque it up and put the split pin through it. I'll put the intake on in a sec. Judging by the fact the bolt was loose, I'm going to say this has already been drained. That saves me a job. Not much. I'll leave it drip a minute. This side of the car, I need to put the shaft in, lower brace down. But if you look in here, you can see the main bolts for the engine mount, well, gearbox mount, and two of them fell off the gun. I didn't have a long nose with me. Where's the other one? I can't find the other one. Either way, give myself a minute. Drive shaft, let's put the drive shaft in. Don't know if I can do this one-handed. Oh, excuse my knee, actually. Again, I gotta put a clip on it, so I'm gonna take a rather useless. Hang on. The rather useless cable tie off it. Oh, one-handed job this is not. Where am I? My knee's in the way. Give me a second. quite used to the fact that the gearbox is on the other side of the car on this. Look at this one undid again. What car? Oh, get it then. It goes. I did wonder if this has ABS, and then I seen the rings and remember that it actually does. That's phenomenal for its age. ABS, traction control. Wait, does that traction control? I can't remember if it does. Right, this is part of the video where it's just too awkward.